Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you. Just coming on through. We are going to go ahead and do a full album reaction today, a full album listen of Styx. We're going to listen to the album The Grand Illusion. This is their 7th studio album, which was released in 1977. This particular album had been suggested by a few of you, such as Martin Dunner, Jimmy R. Jump, Warren Bitters, Don't Be Bitter, Be Sweet Today, Gaia Eternal, Michael Bauckham, Jerome Dukes, Neil Egger, I believe that's how you pronounce your name, Rich Nosowitz, and finally Thomas Rocker. So thank you guys so much for the suggestion, for the recommendation. And if you didn't recommend the album but I listed your name, you may have just mentioned the album, but regardless, you popped up in the list, and so here you are. So I'm excited to go ahead and listen to it. Not overly familiar with Styx. I want to say I've listened to like one track by them a long time ago, but I don't really know anything about them otherwise besides that. So yeah, I'm excited to dive into it. Hope that you guys are excited to be here as well. If it's your first time here, please don't make it your last. Check out the channel, take a walk around, see what other videos there are out there that maybe you're interested in. And if it's not your first time here, thank you for coming back. And if you're one of those, because I know there's several, I'm the same way when I'm watching YouTube channels that I follow. If you're one of those that you watch the videos, you're here regularly, but you never comment, or if it's your first time here and you never comment, just pop in there and say hello. I want to hear from you. I want to hear from the unspoken, the quiets, the silent watchers. I want to hear from you today. just pop in and say hi. Let me turn the fan down just a little bit. But otherwise, let's go ahead and just start off with the first track. Like I said, did I say it already? Press the like button before we even start. Subscribe if you want to. You can support the channel and what I do on Patreon for $2 a month. You don't have to, but you can. Helps me do full album reactions such as this. That's it. That's the intro. Let's go ahead and jump in, guys, with the first track, the title track, The Grand Illusion. Hold on. Take a sip of whatever you're sipping on. Here's to you. Some nice, crisp, clear, filtered water. Let's go ahead and get into it. We'll talk about it a little bit after. Here we go, guys. Just jumped in there, huh? Back that up. I really like when a band provides an opening track that both feels like an overture to what I can expect for the rest of the album. It's powerful and worthy within its own right. It's not just a 1 minute or 2 minute introduction and then we get into the main tracks after. It's a full-fledged song. It's the title track. We're kicking off with a bold statement, with the statement, I guess you could say, of the album. And it still hits all these really right notes. Where to begin, except I guess the beginning with the drum pattern. I really love that kind of marching band into the album as we're being led into the album here. And not only are we introduced via marching band, but with the organ and the keyboards playing beneath and the kind of fun, melodic, joyful nature of the sound itself, it feels less of like a marching to war and more of a carnival march, a circus, a traveling, I don't know, what is it, a traveling circus, I guess, right? Like that's a parade that's coming through the town, and within it, it's just packed with colorful characters, joyful music, and you're getting all of that here. Which, by the way, the album cover is really, really interesting. You're getting a lot of different pictures in there. The face, obviously, a horse, a man riding a horse, or someone riding a horse, the trees. There's a lot going on there. But I like how you get such a core of their sound. It's powerful, it's melodic, it's epic. The instruments are playing wonderfully here. Besides the drums, which I really like how those evolved, especially within that drum pattern, the marching band. Because at first it's just but then at the end, or near the end, we're bringing in the rolls around that to make that feel bigger, make it feel more grand. Like, it just keeps on building up, which I really like. Singing by Dennis DeYoung is also really fantastic. I like how clear his vocals are. Once again, I'm going to use the M word, melodic, but they also soar like an eagle above some watery body. Like they just soar above everything and they feel really good to listen to. The music reminds me of Kansas a little bit. I don't know if that's a good comparison, but it's the only one I can make, in that it has that progressive epic nature, but it doesn't lose its balance. It doesn't lose its footing. It always keeps it grounded in something that's very approachable. The guitar playing, I really like how that sprung about. That's going to be James J. Y. Young handling the guitars, and also Tommy Shaw, who's also playing guitars there. So we have two guitarists. And whoever's playing, I like how they start off in the middle of the verse, which empties out everything really nicely. It starts out just little, I guess you could say, springs of guitar that just come out. And it feels really, really nice. It's very, very nice sounding. And then once we get into the solo sections, they take that nice sound and just pump it up. And it just becomes this, once again, epic soaring anthem. It's very anthemic. And actually, I was listening to the guitar, and I don't know if this is a fair comparison to make. I'm just starting to listen to the band. But the guitar reminded me a little bit of like Brian May from like Queen. Like, I don't know, it just has that powerful nature, the anthemic nature. It's speaking, like there's a clear voice being heard in the playing of the guitar. I just thought that was sensational. This was a really good opening track. Once again, that kind of gives me an idea of perhaps what I could expect listening to the rest of this album as we move forward. Welcome to the Grand Illusion. Come on in and see what's happening. Pay the price, get your tickets for the show. The stage is set, the band starts playing. Suddenly your heart is pounding, wishing secretly you were a star. So I guess once again, that's where I'm getting that kind of traveling circus, but perhaps you're a traveling band, a troupe of some sorts, and they are truly setting up the stage and the show musically. But don't be fooled by the radio, the TV, or the magazines. They show you the photographs of how life should be, but they're just someone else's fantasy. So here, of course, he's saying, you go to the show, you're like, man, I wish I was a rock star like them. But then the cautionary tale of, yeah, you only see the good side. You don't see the bad side, which of course could easily be applied to things like today, like social media. And you see the good, you see the glamour, you see, man, they're living their life so awesome, but you don't see, the other side, what it took to get there, et cetera, et cetera. So, excuse me. So if you think your life is complete confusion because you never win the game, just remember that's a grand illusion, because deep inside we're all the same, we're all the same. You may not believe it, but Brad Pitt also has to poop. Like, we're all the same. Like, no, you know what I meant? Okay. So if you think your life is complete confusion because your neighbor's got it made, just remember that's a grand illusion. Deep inside we're all the same. So no matter, where you are in life, how much, money you have, how much acclaim you have, we're all the same. America spells competition. Join us in our blind ambition. Get yourself a brand new motor car. Someday soon we'll stop to ponder what on earth's this spell we're under. We made the grade and still we wonder who the hell we are. Like, we all made it. We're at a great place overall, like humanity-wise, and yet still, like, we're wondering who we are. We're still trying to figure things out. And we still compare ourselves to one another and base not everybody, of course, but many base their value upon the value of what they have and not who they are, because maybe they don't know who they are. There's also a Wikipedia page for this track. It says that although not released as a commercial single, it received significant airplay. It says the theme is, of course, that things aren't always what they appear to be. The song's theme also reflects on the pressures of being a media star. DeYoung said that the song's theme, it's that feeling that success is set up in such a way that if you succeed, you're a failure. And if you don't succeed, you're a failure. The system makes you believe that if you get to point A, everything changes for you. And if you can't get there, you're a schmuck. Unfortunately, when you do get to point A, you find out you're still a schmuck. I like that. Like, no matter what, you think at this point you made it? Nope, you think you did. But you're just like the rest of us. Let's go ahead and move on, everyone, into the next track here, which is going to be, hold on, let me pull it back up here. It's coming. Fooling Yourself, the Angry Young Man. Here we go. So cool. The synth is the star in this track. And it could be DeYoung on it, or it could be Young, because they all are, well, both of them are credited with synths. So I'm not sure who's playing it on this one. I want to probably lean towards Dennis DeYoung. But man, the actual sound of it, I love that sound. That doing such a horrible job. Emily. Like, it's just so fun. It sounds fun and creative. And then the way that it's being played, I think is so smart. There's moments where it's running and showing off and in a sense shredding, but then there's those moments where it actually sings out, and the pitching of it sounds so cool. And I really like the dynamic, especially in the beginning with the intro, between that acoustic guitar and that synth sound. The electric and the acoustic, like, they just blend and work so well together. Also, question, do you guys think that it's the same synth as at the end of Lucky Man by ELP? I'll go one deeper. Do you think that it's also the same synth that Rudis uses in Solitary Shell from Dream Theater? Because it also has that kind of acoustic guitar synth sound. I guess I could like really quickly play a sample. That's just where my mind went to like when I was listening to it. It just reminded me of it, especially with the acoustic guitar. Hold on, let me skip ahead a little bit. Just a wee bit. Get a little bit more. You think so? You think that it's similar? I think that it's similar. Maybe not exactly the same, but I think it's pretty close. Either way, Solitary Shell is a cool song. And then once again, like in this track, how long is this track? 4 minutes? 5 minutes, 30 seconds. There's a lot of movements in here, but at the same time, they hit that chorus and they get it nicely popped in there. It's catchy. It makes it sing out. It makes it sing out so much that the rest of the band came in with harmonies as well. And once again, it just gives it that kind of big anthemic nature when everyone else is joining in and singing along. This would be a track that I could see the audience latching onto and singing along to, catchy as it is and fun as it is. And you know, after he's doing all those keyboard solos, you know they're clapping. Relax, take it easy. You see, and apparently it's Tommy Shaw who's singing on this track, actually, not DeYoung. You see the world through your cynical eyes. You're a troubled man, I can tell. You got it all in the palm of your hand, but your hand's wet with sweat, and your head needs a rest. I like that. You have everything you want in the palm of your hand, but your hand's sweaty. Why? Mom spaghetti. You're fooling yourself if you don't believe it. You're kidding yourself if you don't believe it. Why must you be such an angry young man when your future looks quite bright to me? How can there be such a sinister plan that could hide such a lamb, such a caring young man? Like, you have everything you want. You have a bright future ahead of you. What are you angry about? What do you feel like you're lacking? What do you feel like you're missing? And you're fooling yourself if you don't believe it. You're killing yourself if you don't believe it. Get up, get back on your feet. You're the one they can't beat, and you know it. You're not the one struggling against the man. You are the man. Yeah, come on, let's see what you've got. Take your best shot and don't blow it. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, don't blow it. You got one shot. Don't miss your chance. This is the second single release from this particular album. It hit number 20 on the Canadian RPM Top Singles chart, and also peaked in the US at number 29. It was originally based on Shaw's initial perception of Dennis DeYoung, an angry young man who viewed the group's successes with a wary eye and grew angry with every setback. It was only in later years that Shaw began to see himself in the lyrics, and the song took on a more personal meaning to him. That's kind of interesting, which actually makes me curious about the band's relationship with each other. Once again, I don't know anything about the band, but that's interesting, like how Shaw viewed Dennis DeYoung as an angry young man who viewed the group's success with a wary eye and was very frustrated by every little setback, perhaps, that they made, or depressed, he says here. It's kind of interesting. That's cool. But then as like I said, like it began to take on more personal meaning towards Shaw himself. I like that. I think that's kind of cool. Let's move on into the next track here, which is going to be a superstar. Let's go. Why did I say it like that? Superstars. Let's go. It's the kickoff. harmonies come through. They had a long fade out on this one. I love when you can hear the band singing through. You know, when they're singing Superstars, and I mean, they're singing very high. I like how that pushes everything really nicely. Da, da, da. Like, it just feels really, really good to hear them all doing that. That breakdown at the end was really nice and really unexpected. Also getting a little bit of a Supertramp vibe from the band a little bit. But I like how, actually, we'll talk about the music and everything, but like lyrically, let me just dive into this super quick. You and I will climb so high, we'll be superstars, you and I. See, you've read about me in the papers, you've seen me on the movie screen. You know everything there is to know about me, I'm your late night fantasy. Okay, you're a little full of yourself, but maybe you've earned it, perhaps. But don't think I can't hear you calling from the shadow of the 14th row, because I've had the same dreams you've had just a short few years ago. Okay, question. I guess I could look this up. We'll look it up in a little bit. I like to come to my own conclusions before I look at stuff. Is this a concept album? Because in a way, it seems like with the 14th row thing, we're still referencing the initial track with you know, the rock star lifestyle and wanting to be that, but you know, the cautionary tale of the darkness behind that. And now we're kind of singing from the other side, from the rock star's perspective, and perhaps spotting someone, he says in the 14th row, and like, hey, you and me, we're gonna be superstars. I'm gonna take you on the road. Whatever's gonna happen, but like it'll become our fantasy. You've dreamt about me. Well, is a little full of himself. Okay, but then the music and of course the lyrics change. Superstars, superstars, step right this way. Everyone's welcome. We want your dreams. The offer's simple, momentary immortality, my love. What a fantastic line that is. Momentary immortality. Because it's only a blip, just a quick fire in the pan. Because I've seen them all, you know. I've seen them climb, I've seen them fall, I've seen them come, I've seen them go. And through it all, there's only one thing that matters, love. And that's simply you and I, we are superstars. So I almost get kind of a devilish music manager. Like, yeah, I'm going to make a star out of you. And, you know, I've seen them come, I've seen them go, I've seen them rise, I've seen them fall. But you're different. And I'm sure this is the same spiel that's given to everyone, right? This is almost like a have a cigar kind of moment from Pink Floyd. Like that backhanded, yeah, I'm going to make a star out of you. By the way, which one of you is pink? You know, like this is kind of one of those situations here. At least that's what I'm getting at, or I'm kind of getting out of that. And what I like is going back to the musical side of things. Once again, the music is empowering, it's soaring, it's catchy, it's radiant, it makes you feel good, it makes you feel alive. But there's that other side of it as the band literally switches to the other side on that break in the second half. Like, that's darker. There's something lurking in the shadows. This is a deal with the devil, and you ain't going to make it out quite right. You're making a handshake with his hoofs, you know? But just once again, I love, by the way, when it switches to that, I love how isolation is left on the bass, and there's this kind of reverberating hum, the way that he's playing the bass there, that kind of leads into that darker nature. And then, well, once again, the synthesizers feel so nice in here. I like how DeYoung sprinkles a little bit of, I don't know, like he's putting on the chords in the verse, but then I like how he sprinkles in a little bit of, like, a few melodic lines in there. That feels really good. All right, let's move on into the final track of this particular side of the album, which is going to be Come Sail Away. Question, is this the Come sail away, come sail away, come sail away with me? If that's this song, then I have heard a little bit more from Styx than I've expected. Let's see. Let's find out. Here we go. Oops, I did the wrong button. Here we go.
That's ahead of me.
That's a wonderful piano playing. I don't remember a lot of this. Okay, so yes, the chorus I recognize. That I said it, right? The chorus I recognize. And bits and pieces of the track do sound familiar. I'm quite sure that I've heard this track in full, or at least in part, at some point in passing. But like, whenever it got into, I don't know, that After the chorus, when the hi-hats were going and then you had that, to me, that kind of mechanical synth sound. I hadn't heard that part before. So I don't know if that, full version which versus radio version or whatever. But what a cool track this is. This is definitely one of those karaoke kind of songs. I guarantee you, this is one of those karaoke songs that you go out to karaoke at night to some sushi bar and someone's going to be up on stage singing this, and people are going to be waiting because there's a moment in there, of course, when everything's soloing that you're just waiting for the singing to come back, and you're waiting for that singing to come back, and then the person up there is just standing there awkwardly because they don't play keyboards or they didn't bring a guitar, so they just kind of have to shuffle their feet, maybe do a little dance while everybody's singing. But back to the track. The singing in the beginning is absolutely wonderful. I love how there's a little bit of classical touch, especially noticed in the beginning there. If you had switched out the sound for maybe like a harpsichord or something like that, you would have definitely dived further into that realm just a little bit. But I think the venture that we took in there was just enough. It felt really good, especially with who I'm assuming is Dennis singing above that. Actually, you know what? There is a Wikipedia article for this one. Actually, it's going to be James Young who's playing the synth on this track. All right, so that helps a little bit. So I really, really like that. I really like how they play and sing in the intro. It sets you up for something very, very epic. And then as the song moves up and into, of course, the natural movement of where it's going to go further, it continues to add layers onto it. You have big synths, which almost act as an orchestra kind of sound, like you have those kind of rising strings coming up from it. And I don't think it's an actual orchestra. It sounds more keyboardish, but what do I know? And then, of course, the guitar stacks in, the bass comes in with a really nice bass line. And I once again think that the guitar, whether it's by Shaw or Young, is just so cool to listen to. Like, yes, in a way, the synth is the star, of course, the makeup of everything, but the guitar really sings and soars, and it's so powerful. And this track has, once again, these like nicely distinct movements from each other. The intro sounds nothing like the chorus. Once that guitar riff kicks in, like, it changes everything. Even though they'll bring back certain motifs or segments or callbacks from earlier sections. So even for as segmented as it is, in a sense, like you could randomly click on 1 minute and then go to another section that's completely different. They still hold it all together. They still link it all together and make everything connect in a really, really nice way. I'm sailing away, but I think this song is about like an alien abduction. I'm sailing away, set an open course for the virgin sea, because I've got to be free to face the life that's ahead of me. On board, I'm the captain, so climb aboard, we'll search for tomorrow on every shore, and I'll try, oh Lord, I'll try to carry on. I look to the sea, reflections in the waves spark my memory, some happy, some sad. I think of childhood friends and the dreams we had. We lived happily forever, so the story goes, but somehow we missed out on the pot of gold, but we'll try the best we can to carry on. So I like how, I guess, whether physically or metaphorically, he's taking this journey out to sea to reflect upon himself, searching his memories, recalling his childhood, the things that they missed out on, but also the things that they have to look forward to. A gathering of angels appeared above my head. They sang to me this song of hope, and this is what they said: sail away, come sail away with me. So I think it's an alien abduction, because he says, I thought they were angels, but to my surprise, we climbed aboard their starship. We headed for the skies. Got that mothership connection. Not the mothership connection, and they're going to get funked up on that ship. It says that this song was the lead single from the band, peaking at number 8 on the Billboard Hot 100, and it helped them achieve multi-platinum sales in 1978. It's one of their biggest songs. Let's see. DeYoung revealed that he was depressed when he wrote the track after Styx's first 2 AM offerings, Equinox and Crystal Ball, sold fewer units than expected after the success of the single Lady. So I guess that once again kind of goes back to what Shaw had said earlier about the previous track, and how, DeYoung really took it personal when, they didn't make certain successes or certain expectations. It also says here that Come Sail Away is in the key of C major. Okay. Sorry, I'm not like a music theory kind of guy or anything, so it's not really pertinent to me. So yeah, we have made it to the halfway mark of the album list, and I hope that you guys have enjoyed it. Hope that you guys are still here, which if you are still here, you're hearing what I'm saying. So yeah, I appreciate you. Usually I'll put like a little, like, I'll just say like, hey, if you're still watching, do this or do that. Nothing. I got nothing for you. I'm just happy you're here. So let us move on into the second side of the album. And opening that side, we're going to begin with Miss America. Here we go, guys. What I like about this track a lot is it's the opening to the second side of the album, right? And after Come Sail Away, we're opening up with kind of another overture-ish selection, something very symphonic in nature. Like it's the string sounds from the keys, it's like opening up this new second side of the album, this second side of the journey. And it has a little bit more of a mysterious vibe. I said darker, but it's not like dark. It's just maybe compared to where we've traveled before with the previous tracks, it is a little bit more on the darker side of things. And I like how it builds this kind of suspense, like this mystery. You don't know quite where it's going to go, but you're like, oh, I kind of like this turn. So just in the opening keys and chords, there's already a different feeling and emotion. Then the band gives you another left turn. They say, you like that? You like that? Wham! And then they get into this hard rocker that probably at this point is really the most aggressive sounding song on the album. Not like it's an aggressive song, but like it is definitely the most rocking song so far here. The guitar is hard here, but the drumming, I love how heavy it is in that section in the chorus as the music and the guitar is just chugging along. Bang, 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 right? Like it's a relatively straightforward riff, but John Pinozzo on the drums, he is going off. He is inserting this cluttered, maniacal, chaotic pattern in there that sounds so cool, and yet at the same time is not so distant or far removed from the music that was there before to make it feel awkward or clumsy or where did this come from? It's a happy, where did this come from? I just really like the dynamics between those two contrasts, not only in contrast to the first side of the album, but just within the song itself from the first opening notes into where, of course, it would go. And then singing-wise, this is the most rockin', once again, that DeYoung is singing. He is getting into it. He's putting it down. Miss America, let's talk about these lyrics. You were the apple of the public's eye as you cut the ribbon at the local mall. A mirage for both you and us. How can this be real? We love your body in that photograph. Your home state sure must be proud. The Queen of the United States, have you lost your crown? Well, aren't you Miss America? Don't you, Miss America? Won't you, Miss America? Our love. Well, are you really who we think you are? Or does your smile seem to wear you down? Is the girl who you once were screaming to jump out? So we're getting references kind of back again to, I guess there is an overall theme to the album. Even if you don't want to consider it a concept album, there's definitely a linking theme. And once again, the grand illusion. You know, we see Miss America. She's perfect. She's pretty. She's this. She's that. She's every American's dream. But is that really who that person is? Or does that person long to be who they once were, perhaps from more humble beginnings? And now they're put up for award shows and ceremonies, and they have to be fake, and they have to do this. You know? I like how the question is thrown out there. Are you really who we think you are? And does that smile seem to wear you down? It takes energy and effort to keep up appearances, and after a while, it just tears down at you. In the dream that you must live, a disease for which there is no cure, this roller coaster ride you're on won't stop to let you off. Like, you're on this, you can't get off. Well, it's true, just take a look. The cover sometimes makes the book. And the judges, did they ever ask to read between the lines? Once again, a really nice line there. The cover sometimes is the book. The cover sometimes is what you are, in a sense. In your cage at the human zoo, they all stop to look at you. Next year, what will you do when you have been forgotten? Once again, talking about that momentary immortality, right? And here we have the realization of that. And of course, the dehumanization of in your cage now. So once going from Miss America to, you know, from this idol, this person that you look at with awe and fascination and wonder, to, yeah, they're still looking at you, but in more negative space, like a cage at the human zoo. They got some good stuff here, huh? Let's move on to the next track here, which is Man in the Wilderness. Let's go. Caw-caw. I don't know why I did that. I don't know why I did that. Okay, let's go.
Like a
Yeah.
man in the wilderness.
Yeah.
And see the way that I feel. Nobody even cares to try.
A little bit of a switch, huh? Okay, some of you are watching this reaction, you're watching me listening to the music, and you've already heard this album, you already have your mind made up when it comes to like what you like out of this album, what you don't like. Maybe you've been given a little bit of extra insight via me, but like overall, like you already have an idea of what you like. Tell me, are you in agreement with me when I say that this is the best track on the album? I know we have 2 more to go, but this is the best track on the album so far. This is my favorite track on the album so far. I think that this is a pretty close to perfect track. I think the singing, and he is handily working with what he's got, and he's pushing it, progressing it, especially in the end when he really goes off. This song has a great structure to it. It starts off, I don't know why, but it reminded me of Pink Floyd in the beginning. It's just this slow, mid-tempo, extremely melodic and blossoming kind of melody that it opens up with, and it just beautifully grows from there. The bed of synth that it's underneath everything gives it this beautiful ambience, and then it just smoothly sails along from that point. Once again, Dennis is singing absolutely, like, to me, epic in here, and the way that he kind of casually and yet notably goes from smooth and to in a way calm, but yet pushing still, to the very end where it's very climactic. Like it just feels so good. It's extremely cathartic, and I think he does an excellent job here. The guitar, the solo in here is, I mean, like I said, this is my favorite song on the album. So yeah, that solo, the way he dredged up, like he dredged that solo up. It had this kind of like little growl to it, and then it pulled up, and the way he did that was just like pulling this behemoth out of the ocean, and then he's playing with it. I thought that was really, really cool. The halfway mark that stops everything puts in that heavier guitar riff, which seemingly comes out of nowhere, but then the way that, once again, like I've said before with how they've handled their other tracks, the way it links back and circles back into the chorus and everything that it was touching on before. This is so easily, to me, the best track on the album. It's not even close. Once again, I know we got a couple more, but this is a high mark. This is a very high mark at this point on the album. But I'm curious, like, because I know, like, I come up with my own opinions, right? But I'm curious as to, like, what the fans think, what people that have already heard this think. And, of course, you know, if you're hearing it for the first time with me as well. But, like, is this a track that Styx fans are, like, in love with? Because I think that it's the best one. Let's get into these lyrics, though. Another year has passed me by. Still I look at myself and cry. What kind of man have I become? All the years I've spent in search of myself, and still I'm in the dark, because I can't seem to find the light alone. I like that. Like, another year is passing by. He's trying to learn something about himself, trying to grow as a person, and yet he's still finding himself lost. And he realizes that he's still lost because he can't find the light alone. He needs a little help. Sometimes I feel like a man in the wilderness. I'm a lonely soldier off to war, sent away to die, never quite knowing why. Sometimes it makes no sense at all. 10,000 people look my way, 10,000 fists in the air. Does anyone know? There's like one person that's going to catch that. But they can't see the way that I feel. Nobody even cares to try. I spend my life and sell my soul on the road, and I'm still in the dark because I can't seem to find the light alone. I'm alive, looking for love. I'm a man with emotion, and my heart's on fire. I'm dying of thirst in the middle of the ocean. I'm alive. So actually, once again, we kind of get a reference to being in the middle of the ocean, even though before that person was taken away by aliens. But obviously, he's saying that he can't find what he's looking for alone, and then he basically reveals that he needs love. And he's a man of passion, a man of emotion, and he just needs someone to share that with. Can't light that fire alone. Let's move on into the next track, which I'm actually going to take the final two tracks together because the last track, the grand finale, is only 2 minutes long. So we might as well let the next track, Castle Walls, and the grand finale play out together so that way they give a little bit of connectivity. Let's go ahead and do that right now. Here we go, guys.
Down near the bay, where the moonlit waterfall built a fly.
Ooh. I love how that guitar came out of that bass line. And that ends our album listen of Styx with the Grand Illusion. So the grand finale, I guess it should have been somewhat obvious, but it's just a nice reprise of, you know, the opening track, the title track, and bringing in some of the lyrics, you know, Sail Away Superstars. And then I like how we even bring in that dark, I guess that the dark boss manager voice from Superstars. You get the Sail Away, and they're like, I like how they pack these references in there really quick, bringing back some of those old motifs musically, and then it kicks us out. But it's just this quick callback climactic conclusion. Sometimes the alliteration is there, not always, but occasionally. And then Castle Walls, I thought was an excellent track once again. Like I mentioned with the harpsichord before, if you're going to bring it into a track, it's going to be Castle Walls, which definitely has a little bit of a medieval texture to it. And I really like how it's used there, and still, of course, bringing in those modern little sensibilities. I love, though, I mean, I mentioned it. It happened twice in the song. The moments where you have the bass from Chuck Panozzo, just that bum bum bum, just that little bubbly rise on the bass, bum bum bum, and then how the guitar almost jazzily but so beautifully springs out of that. It's literally just twice, these two small moments in the track, but I wish that there was maybe like that was used to like even greater effect, just because I loved how that sounded so much. It was just so cool to listen to. Just a small little intimate moment. And then that whole middle section was constantly building into this, I don't know where it was going, but it was becoming more chaotic and more maniacal as it was going. And then like it stopped, and then it swung back into a nice rhythmic swing of things, which did feel, it was kind of weird. I kind of felt two different ways about it. Because that section was building up so heavily and so big, I was really wanting a bigger payoff, a Phil Collins moment, if you will. But I can't say that I was disappointed with the way that it paused everything. And it still gave us kind of a climax as it moved into the next section right after that. So part of me wishes that that big moment just immediately exploded into something, but I'm satisfied. I'm satisfied with how that moved, and I like how in this track, once again, we're kind of bringing back to these, like I said, these kind of medieval sounds and textures that the band is bringing up there. Once in a dream, far beyond these castle walls, down near the bay where the moonlit water falls, I stood alone while the minstrel sang his song, so afraid I'd lost my soul. There in the fog, his song kept calling me, leading me on with its haunting melody. Deep in my heart, a voice kept echoing. I knew I'd soon be wandering. He says, I knew I was going to be leading or walking out there at some point. He knew he was going to be leaving these castle walls. It was only a matter of time. Far beyond these castle walls, where the distant harbor meets the sky, there the battle raged like hell, and every dove there lost its will to fly. Far beyond these castle walls, where I thought I heard Tiresias say, you got the old prophet, the old blind prophet. Life is never what it seems, and every man must meet his destiny. And so this is basically him finding his calling, whether it was from the minstrel's inspiration, from Tiresias and his prophecies, whatever it may have been, something led him on to find or to travel beyond these castle walls and to explore the unknown, but to, in a sense, find and make his own destiny, as he says. That's a great album. This was a really fun album to listen to. You already know my favorite track, so I don't even have to really go into that. But let's look at some of the info on this particular album and see if there's any fun facts about it. It says that let's see, hold on. The album was released on July 7th, 1977, so intentionally choosing the combination 7th on 7777 for luck. And there you go. Hey, if you got it, may as well use it, right? As with much of their catalog, many of the songs have this quasi-medieval fantasy lyrics and themes. Let's see, classic rock critic Malcolm Dome rated the title track as Styx' all-time greatest song. I think it's a really great song. Hey, what do I know? I've just listened to the band. How am I gonna say, Man in the Wilderness? Maybe that's a candidate. Let's see. Tommy Shaw wrote the emotionally deep ballad Man in the Wilderness after watching a Kansas performance in Detroit, which they had played as the opening act. He has called it epic. Unlike any presentation of rock music he'd ever experienced. To go that big opened up all sorts of ideas in my mind, and the next time I was alone with my acoustic, the song more or less unfolded. I mean, that's a pretty good band to be inspired from regarding Kansas. The acoustic rocker's lyrics stem from his experiences of rising to fame with Styx, as well as his brother being sent off to fight in the Vietnam War as a pawn for the strategies of politicians in D.C. That's really, really good stuff. Like I said, Man in the Wilderness is very easily my favorite track, but I would probably say maybe Come Sail Away or Castle Walls would be my maybe second favorite. I don't know. I think Man in the Wilderness is so far ahead of both of them, to be honest. That's good stuff. Hey, but thank you, and another big thank you for being here, for watching the video, for sticking around for however long it's been, at least an hour, I would assume. I appreciate you guys just stopping by and watching the channel. Like I said, whether it's your first time you're here and you're new, please just pop in the comments, say hi. If you don't have an account, just make one. Give yourself a cool username. A profile picture, it helps. And just say hi. I'll say hi back to you. I'll give you a wave or something. I'll reply to you. Also, don't forget, if you haven't or if you're interested, you can subscribe. Press the like button because it helps a lot with the videos and spreading them around to other people who may be interested. You can support the channel and what I do on Patreon. $2 a month, you don't have to, but it helps. And otherwise, guys, thank you so much for spending some time with me. Thank you for... That's it. There's nothing else I would say. Thank you for being here. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I will talk to you all later. Bye.